We are back for the second map between Northeption and Kawasaki Scarz here. A spot at the Atlanta Major is on the line. And of course, now moving on to Scarz's map pick, that major spot is as close to being in their hands as it ever has been. As Northeption struggled to get map 1 across the line, and now they will go onto Clubhouse, where Scarz, well, this is home turf. This is one of their favorite places to do business. And Mandy, Northeption are the ones on the ropes.
Yep, I'm really excited for Scarz going into this one, to be honest. It's Clubhouse, it's a dub house, that's what we like to call it, right? So, Scarz, they're going to be going into this one feeling good because this is potentially a major map for them. Fanface has flown by us though, as we are talking about the stakes of this matchup, and, well, Dokubi Ying going out is, I don't know, it's pretty common here in Japan. Like, that was exactly the same two bans that went out in the last series that we spoke about Clubhouse 2. So, denying yourself of the more explosive executes by taking away Ying, that's one of those enabling operators, I would like to call it, right? Dokubi as well is going to slow down a little bit on that roam clearing process. You also lose your EMPs, but meanwhile, on the flip side of that conversation, you leave in all your essential attacking operators, right? So all of your hard breach, all of your anti-hard breach denial, I suppose. I don't really know the right words for that one. And all of your soft breach as well. So all the important attacking operators in, whereas some of the important defending operators are gone.
Yeah, well, it could well be that because of that, we might see quite an attacker-sided Clubhouse.
That is what we saw.
Yeah, you already saw that with Cyclops and Crest earlier today. But you never really know. Map 1 ended up incredibly even. There was some bomb sites, namely the basement, that was just always for defense, and every other bomb site was very much like split. You couldn't really tell who was going to take it. Looks like there's quite a fortified setup on the bomb site for these anchors. I like the shield. It's kind of replacing what Northeption would likely be doing if they had Azami. Those Azamis are really powerful for holding up the church, but of course Scarz have banned it. So Northeption are having to get creative, but I wonder, will we continue to see the incredibly gustuous and aggressive Northeption that we saw on map 1 on this roam game?
I'd be surprised if we didn't, to be honest. Like, I feel like Shuripa and Nina have really been on it. Like, I don't think it's just this this map, but the stage in general. They've just done such a good job in playing the game on the early parts of the round, especially playing that entry to null. So I can only imagine that they're going to try and hold on to the map together. It's Nina, of course, the first point of contest here on the ground floor. It's not like they're extending all the way up into the top floor and trying to hold all 3 floors of the map at the same time or whatever, but they're doing something light.
Indeed they are. Nina really wants to continue to shoot drones and maybe get a free kill, but never really know with Nina, right? Sometimes he's a real shoe-in for these frags, and sometimes he overextends and loses his life.
Alright, here we go. The mini-aim to be played first is Shuri trying to trick this hatch inside of Moto, right? So there is no baby EMPs on the side of the attack, so surely no matter what hard breach goes down, it can pretty easily be tricked by Shuri on the other side, so I think this is a good read so far from the defense.
But this is well done by the attack. They should be able to get this Moto hatch open regardless. One thing as a benefit for the defense is that the time is ticking away here. Scarz have achieved some of those tick boxes, but I don't believe all those hatches are open yet. Is that kitchen hatch open? I'm not sure. Nina has already found the first kill. It's Rek, the one being harassed by those yokai drones, and he's taken down the player in blue. This is a good start for the defense.
Yeah, they're doing pretty good here. They're pretty much locking out every single mode of typical execute that there is for Scarz at the moment and holding their ground. All the walls will remain closed now, and the final 40 seconds of the round start to play out. There's Pion, who I believe is the only one left with hard breach on his hands, but I don't know where he's used them.
Aggression here from Scarz will be required in the dire moments of this round. 4v4. Of course, the smokes are gone. No more smoke babes for Akasu. Don't know where those yokais are yet, but they will need to have an impact, as will the Vulcan canisters. But Nina says, I can have an impact with my gun. The Vector rings true, as do all the weapons on Northeption's side. It's all up to Washoy. The last player remains upstairs. Of course, Temptation on Shuri's side to find the final kill. Will lose his life, but unfortunately, Scarz are the ones to lose the rounds.
Yeah, I think Northeption did a good job there, just keeping that basement locked out to the attack. Ultimately, the attack didn't really have a chance to play that mini-game of opening up the hatches because they didn't have any EMPs, right? Even though hatch is actually open to them at the moment, they didn't have any way of actually winning out the mini-game on the moto hatch, so that remained closed. That means that Scarz went, okay, if moto hatch is closed, we probably shouldn't do triple wall take, right? Let's go for kitchen instead. They tried to go for the kitchen hatch being open, but they got that open with about like 25 seconds left in the round. It's not enough time to plan out your execute, and by then Northeption had set up all the crossfires they needed to deny the entry into the bomb site. So well done from Northeption. Just play the discipline game and lean into the power positions of the bomb site. Have you lost the game? Is that what I understand now? Oh dear, that is not good. Okay, so anyway, it's just me. It's gym and bedroom now that Northeption are going to go to. They are leaning into the castle and mirror setup, so something more centric on the bomb site once again. They are going to be extending over into cache so far, so Scarz have got something to deal with if they want to sweep through the map. I'm not exactly sure where the two mirrors have been placed. They're actually both in the hands of Yuki's as it stands for now, but I can only imagine that they'll be placed to lock out the bomb site.
Well, Scarz, one attack down the drain. Hopefully they'll have some more success on these bomb sites that are a little bit easier to deal with in terms of clearing map control, right? Like that basement, you've got to clear the whole map, and I think Scarz are probably expecting a bit more aggression from Northeption, expecting that they would go into that execute with some picks and some more of an advantage. But it wasn't the case. Northeption have really learnt their lesson from map 1, I think, but my question is, like, how will they do when there is no aggression? Because, like, that's such an important ingredient for them and one of their biggest strengths.
Alright, so here we go. Like you're saying, what happens when they are down in the man count? Well, that question won't be asked just yet because it looks like Scarz are really focusing in on their attack here. 4 players outside of the main breach. Sylvia's not going to be able to get the trick off, so that's going to go down. But they're actually not going to fully capitalize off that wall being open straight away. They're dialing it back instead and deciding whether they really want to go for that push or not, because on the other side of that breach, they're met by a mirror window.
Yeah, there's a lot to deal with here, and I believe that mirror window is also protected by a battery, which I think is still muted, but they haven't gone and breached it yet. Selma's completely gone, in fact, for Ace, so that's a bit unfortunate for Scarz. I'm not sure what their plan is to deal with that mirror window. Perhaps a nade from below. Of course, it is on soft floor, but instead of doing that, Rek is going to sneak his way up the main stairs and lose his life to Nina.
Nina doing a really good job in isolating that one-to-one gunfight. Rek, of course, trying to enable his team to execute their way onto the bomb site. Going for that pinch was unsuccessful. Washoy now will put that pressure out on the balcony, but is wary that perhaps someone could peek in through this, the server window on the other side. Has got to be very careful in his position so far. Meanwhile, the rest of Scarz, they're going to dial it back now. 2 players on drones. Fishlike thankfully can reclaim the life of Nina and actually get that main stairs control. That's a lot of pressure now for the attack.
Yeah, Fishlike will have to have an impact moving up the stairs. He's taking out that default camera, but he needs to start taking out some players. There's one, and he does land enough shots to get the kill there. Now, there is still a player in bathroom playing that mirror window, and that is the critical element to this defense for Northeption. Fishlike caught a bit of a strange, and it's good control from Scarz, but unfortunately not much else to boot. And Shuri's as well to swing the final corner. Get that means 2 back-to-back defenses for Northeption.
Really good stuff there from Northeption to be able to hold on in the dying seconds of the round. Scarz, realizing that they had a potential hole coming up the main stairs and going in for a gym execute, didn't quite work out for them. Unfortunately for Northeption, their stronghold inside a bathroom and flipping their defense to play in areas like Con inside Logi, which were largely uncontested by Scarz, meant that as the gunfights came through, they play the attrition game and eventually convert that to a round win.
Well, maybe it's not going to be the attacker side of Clubhouse, Mandy, after all.
Yeah.
It's been 2 rough defenses so far, but credit to Northeption. It takes a lot of experience and practice to be able to pivot operators when different things are banned out, right? Like we always talk about the really powerful operators. It's one thing to have it unlocked, it's another thing to be good at using it. And credit to Northeption, they've played the Echo really well, and they played the Mirror really well. And that Echo is the one that springs to mind for me after seeing it in the first round enable some early aggression. And now seeing it here on Cache CCTV, a bomb site where we don't often see the Echo, and typically it's not very easy to keep those yokai safe on the site for plant denial, which makes me assume this must be some sort of aggressive play with the yokai.
You never know. It's Shurip. He's really good at enabling himself. I think it's something that we've seen time and time again in this series so far. He's always been a good on his own. He doesn't really need the support of his teammates to do good work here in the round, especially in that entry denial phase like we've been pointing out. I can only imagine like perhaps he's like running it in and out of one of those external drone holes to actually see what's going on outside of the map. Of course, we can't get on board with him because we're not really talking to our observer, but that is one way that Shurip in his mission to try and deny the entry could assist himself.
Scarz haven't been the greatest on the entry in the series in general. It tends to be Northeption that open the equation. But this is really like a much more laid-back Northeption compared to what we saw on Oregon, which I like, Mandy. I think that this is the right call. Of course, aggression can be one of their greatest strengths, but it can also be one of their downfalls when teams like Scarz are so prepared for it. Scarz just don't seem prepared at the moment for Clubhouse, which is funny because it was obviously their map pick. It's a map that they love. It's a map that they've beat Northeption on several times before. Northeption are just really, they come to this second map with a renewed vengeance.
Scarz do look a bit nervous. Like, even though there are a lot of tools in their hands, it doesn't feel like they're fully utilizing their reservoir of operator picks that they have available to them, to be honest, just yet. I feel like that might be a criticism that comes back to bite me, but I want to see how they play it out instead, what adaptations they're going to make. Nina here is going to go for that peek on the outside of the breach, contesting the one player that is there. That was Tayu on the other side of that, with that Zofia in hand. Meanwhile, the rest of Scarz are going to look for something over on the other side of Con for a sweep. Really nice grenade sunk onto Nina from outside of Con will be the opener of this round.
Where was that pick? How did he manage that nade?
I think he lobbed it over the top of the little Con thing, the little Con wall. Do you know what I mean?
Through the Con wall. And then into... I thought the player was top red. Yeah, he was.
Oh no, maybe you're right. Never mind.
He must have thrown it from Con through the door and then past the mirror through the hole. That's a really hard nade to land. And I was going to say Nina was even running the FMG9, which is a great gun for actually taking fights. A good player to take down, but Akusi elsewhere has finished off Washoy, so no more nades from the Sledge, and of course none either from Rek on the Yana as she's already used both of hers. Some action going down on the side though, as there's really no time for this plant to go down unless it goes down right now, but it is denied by the impact. Bjorn still has that diffuser, but unfortunately loses his head on the cross deep. Rex found one, but it's not going to be enough. Northeption, believe it or not, have just won 3 defenses in a row and are looking incredibly solid here on Club.
Yeah, I think a bit brave there for Scarz to actually try and go for the objective-based plant. There in the last few seconds of the round rather than trying to go deep there. I think that in that situation there are just so many players that Northeption can be. Not just that, but there was also the C4 pressure that was coming out from below that Scarz hadn't really accounted for. So I think in general there, Scarz just looking for something that wasn't all too well calculated, and I think Northeption kept keeping them accountable by denying that flood as it comes through. Like we saw, the crossfires really denied them from being safe anywhere in the bomb site. Not just that, of course, but aided by the explosives to force Scarz off that plant and to take some really unfavorable gunfights as they tried to make their way in.
Yeah, well, for Scarz now, I'm wondering when the moment is to get concerned. For me, maybe this round, but this is going to be a really challenging attack, right? You've got the Valkyrie and the Echo. That's a really nice Valkyrie cam in kitchen as well. The C4s are going to be ever present, and having a look at the attacking lineup, there's no real counter for either of those info-gathering defenders. So you could have brought a Dokkaebi, could have brought the... Oh, sorry, Dokkaebi's actually banned by Northeption.
Yeah.
Could have brought the IQ is the other one that comes to mind. but unfortunately not going to happen. Maybe that Thatcher might inadvertently disable one of those cameras when the hatch is looking to be open, so that could just be lucky happenstance for Scarz, I guess.
Yeah, I think that is a bit lucky, to be honest. The way that I see that Thatcher pick is that previously they got locked out of opening Moto, right? Because they had no opportunity to play the minigame against Shurip, who was here once again on the Kaid playing the trick game, right? So by having that Thatcher in play, it is going to enable Scarz to make better use of the hard breach charges that they have in their hands, unlike the previous attempt that they tried to do. Okay, so here we go. This is yet another attack onto the basement for Scarz as they try to make their way in. Slow and steady seems to be the name of the game for them. They want to be careful of these Valkyrie cameras on the ground floor, as Dev has alluded to in the prep phase. So doing very careful drone work. Since they do not have any IQ, and like Dev pointed out, they don't have OKB either, they need to be careful to make sure they're actually clearing every single little bit of utility that could be here for the defense, and making sure they're not enabled by that intel.
Well, well, well. Northeption are once again playing so passively. It really is a night and day difference compared to map 1. My question is, Scarz going to be able to have enough time to go for this eventual execute? It comes down to doing the checklist work in this mid-round. And you can see Washer standing on the counter to be careful as C4s. Oh my god! I think I might have cursed him. He dropped off at the worst possible moment. That C4 has taken him down incredibly low HP, but that is all of the C4s for Northeption now gone.
Yeah, and so they haven't actually successfully cleared that Valkyrie camera yet inside of Kitchen. We're seeing it now on Nina's point of view. But this time around, I think they've actually successfully been able to open up the motor hatch. Shuri wasn't quite in the right position to deny it, but as this time ticks down, I'm still feeling worried for Scarz. Even though the hatches are open for them, converting it into an opportunity for an execute can still be challenging. And with Wishoy on such low health, he's going to be focusing on the vertical. Meanwhile, the rest of his team are going to try for this triple wall push, but that EMP actually misses on the floor above, so that's going to stay closed. Fishlike's going to drop for it anyway, though.
Oh, unfortunate exchange there for Nina. Fishlike has opened this round right up for Scarz. This could be the first chance for them to get an attack on the board. Yokai still remains. Sylvia not able to get one in position. It's taken out. Akasu in an awkward position, forced to try and retake blue, but that's not going to happen. Could the first round for Scarz on their attack be flawless? Yukiz denies it, but cannot deny the round win for Scarz. And any doubts you might have had about their proficiency on Clubhouse surely have been quelled with such a dominant round.
There was a great brute force execute there from Scarz in the last few seconds of the round as it ticked down. This time around, they won the minigame against Shurip, of course, aided by the Thatcher. That was Fishlike who did so much in that round. Not only did he aid his teammate to get their way inside of Moto, but also got the bomb down himself. The real turning point there for the execute for me was we were actually on the Echo's point of view, and then his drones got shut out by Rek. So Rek really knew that for that bomb to go down, and for the conditions of that execute to work, that they really had to deny those Yokai drones. Not just that, but the blue push to come out simultaneously. Scarz had thought of all the eventualities when it came down to that final stage of the round, and they executed it to perfection.
Well, Mandy, guess what? We get to see another round of Jim and Bedroom. I actually thought it was Bob for a second. I'm not going to lie. I was about to say we get to see all 4 bomb sites, and then I realized it was Jim and Bedroom. I thought this was like a castle extension.
Damn, you hyped that up so much too. You were like, well,
I
guess
know.
what?
Well, because
Guess
I thought I'd seen the bar stage, and I was wrong.
Self-bait.
I baited myself, and then I was like, we get to see Jim Bedroom. And then everyone's like, wait, that's we always get to see that. That's not exciting, Dev. It's like when your mum's like, guess what I've got for you at home? And it's like the same afternoon tea that you always have as a little kid. You think it's exciting.
You can't say that though. Sometimes the comfort snacks are like the best ones. You know, you go home and there's like Tim Tams on the dining table, and you're like, yes, it's a good day. You know,
if you had
it's a
Tim
good
Tams
day.
as your comfort snack as a kid, you were very lucky. And all of our non-Australian viewers are just like, what the hell's Tim Tams? Google it, guys. You will enjoy it. Okay, Northeption. Look at that aggressive peeking from Shurip upstairs. I'm guessing Nina had gotten aggressive elsewhere because he's now pieced on out downstairs. He's also taken a little lick of damage. But for Pion, breach open, and we are seeing one slightly different thing for Scarz this time, Mandy, and that's the Hibana. We didn't see Hibana last time, but I like that. Extra hard breach, and also extra breaching to clear any castle barricades, which you've already seen Kaya do.
Yeah, we love Hibana. Yeah, this is good, I think, for Scarz. They're leaning into the fact that they have everything open to them on the attack, right? Bringing along that double hard breach. Of course, none of it was banned out. Even Maverick is still in for them too, so they have all the opportunity that they need in the world to open up the walls, and they're going to get that done pretty much for free here. So that's the first step of the round, but that's also the easy step of the round, right? The next step of the round is the harder one. Now, there is Nina. I can see his outline, and I'm scared. Ooh, that's a nice hit, but not quite sunk onto Kusu. But here he is. Yep, Nina on the flank through Oil Pit is going to be able to take down the first player. And Fish like Akusu as well, able to double down in his position. I think that was the player in Cash as well. So this sweep has gone completely awry for the attack.
Really interesting to me watching Nina's POV on that flank. Wait, hold that thought a second. Wreck has managed to sneak in. Almost brought this round back for Scarz. That's a very pivotal kill. This nade would be so lucky! Oh, the kill through the wall! Had that been reinforced, then Sylvia would live to frag another day. But guess what, Mandy? The man advantage has actually flipped into Scarz's favor. They found 3 picks from a 3v5.
Oh, this one's getting exciting now as we go over towards the bomb site. We can see the remaining 2 players of Northeption going, our friends have died around us. Let's just hold on for a little bit longer. There's only 30 seconds to do it. Scarz, they want to make this execute work down inside of logistics, but Yukas is so ready for that hatch drop.
The flash is going to be enough to punish him. Washoy also managed to sneak in there. That's a great kill. Oh, the double down. A 1v2 now for Rek. He's caught on the mirror window, so information is present for Yukiz. Might get the timing here on Shurip. He's got the info, but he does not have the diffuser. And now it's going to be awkward. Wait a second, he knows where the last one is! Yukiz on the pre-fire. Thankful he was able to land that shot, because had he not, Scarz would have stolen that round away. Round that Northeption should have always won from the 2 numbers advantage, but Scarz brought back and made it a 1v1.
Oh, Yukiz was the superhero in that round, seriously. Like, all of his, all the plans of Northeption just went away instantly, right? Scarz, they did such a good job playing the entry game and completely sweeping in to that map, with Rek eventually being able to get his way inside of Cash and finding that double kill, right? That was looking like a really scary point for Northeption, as there was only 2 remaining on the bomb site. But then as the dying seconds of the round went by, the flashes just the tiniest bit desynced with the entry that came through Logi, opened up the round for Yukiz. It gave him a launch window to eventually find that 3 kills that he needed to win out the round for Northeption.
Yeah, well, Scarz really did kind of need that round, right? Like, 4-1 deficit is pretty hard. Now, there is a chance that they can salvage this half with another round, but of course, they will have to go down to the basement. It's not like they'll get Cash CCTV, which is Northeption's tertiary site, because Scarz already won on Northeption's primary site. What is the prize, Mandy, for winning on your opponent's best site on the attack?
You have to do it again!
You have to do it again!
Yeah!
Oh! And if you're Scarz right now, you're like, God damn it. Like, we were pretty close to winning that gym bedroom, but really that was just because we brought back a 3v5. This Church Arsenal, it was a great round, but it's still a pretty hard site to crack.
Here goes Rek. First point of contest for the attack. It's Akusu taken down very low, but decides to pull it away with his life. Smokes, of course, going to be very important in the late rounds. That's not a play that you want to go down early. Good discipline from him. But what that means is the entire map has now been given up to Scarz. The only player left to put any kind of contest to it is going to be Nina on that Solus, and he's going to hold on to blue for now, but probably not for long, right? The rest of Scarz have really taken a grip hold on that top floor.
Going steady once again for Scarz, but you have to make steady progress. You can't just be slow and methodical, doing a lot of droning, getting a lot of information. This is such a hard breach heavy bomb site, and of course the Goyo is on the board as well as the smoke. Now the smoke was the first pick last time Scarz attacked this bomb site, and that afforded them, I think, a bit of extra leeway in the late round.
It almost was in this round as well. Thankfully, Akuzu added the better of it and got away with his life. Now, something I want to point out to change up the way that this mid-round plays out is the Ram on Washoy, right? He's realized that with the info on the board of the Valk, which is actually not present in this round, it can be quite scary to get that control inside of Kitchen. So by bringing the Ram instead, you can get that vertical but from a remote position instead. So Washoy now, with this mid-round at control in his hands, is going to make full use of that soft floor.
I'm seeing a bit of Ram.
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
A lot of vertical potential here. Ooh, is that a late reinforcement from Akasu? I'm not sure if I saw that right. It looked like he was actually reinforcing the third triple wall. We might actually see it in a second. That could open up... Oh, that's unfortunate. The RAM device got stuck, so it's not going to make quite as much vert as it would have otherwise. But nonetheless, Scarz are making decent headway here. They are now opening up that moto hatch. And you can see that there's no electrification on the kitchen hatch, so that surely will be opened up soon as well.
I'm a little worried here for Scarz, but that stems my worries as Rek is able to get the first pick onto Shoereap. He was trying to hold on to that bottom main stairs position. I'm not sure exactly how he was killed. I can only imagine through that vertical that came through the hallway made by the Ram, right? So now that kitchen hatch is open, but there's only 20 seconds left to go, so they have to press this attack now.
Well, to save this from being a 5-1, Scarz will have to go nuts, and guess what? They do it once again! How do they always make this work? But amidst the smoke, Sylvia is there. No impacts, but he can deny the plants! It's a 2v1 for Scarz! And they barely managed to make it work! Oh, Scarz, you sure know how to give me a heart attack! Sylvia almost made them look like chumps. But thankfully, the defending champions can get that across the line and scrounge a second round out of this half.
That was looking real scary for Scarz. Like, the moment that hatch opened, they were like, okay, now we go. It is time. We have no more of that left. So, great job there. I think the big pivotal point was that blue push working in tandem with the hatch drop as well. Pion had a really great idea to actually bring the Ossa shields down on that hatch drop with him. So, as he was able to fall through, he couldn't be shot out. He was able to get that Ossa shield down. And as a result, he really protected himself and the bomb from being in a really safe spot and not being killed out by those explosives. I think was the win condition there for that last second ditch execute that they tried to go for.
It's funny, Mandy, how much this game has flipped on its head, right? At the start of this map, right? The very first round, Northeption won an incredibly convincing basement defense, but Scarz, we've seen them many times come back from deficiencies in the rounds when they've got a bit of time to think about how their opponents are playing it and make some adaptations. And for me, I've said this a couple times so far this map, but Northeption and Oregon were just all go, go, go. And here on Clubhouse with their defenses, they finally started to figure out that if they just wait a bit, then Scarz will struggle to make decent progress in the mid-round, and those late rounds will go the way of Northeption. And Scarz read that back, and they're like, guys, we have to pick this up. They're not getting as aggressive on us in the early round. Let's just do our due diligence, but do it quickly, and then let's start engaging the vert. Let's start picking apart these Northeption pushes. And every now and then, a spicy idea like that Ossa, as you said, is going to win these late executes for Scarz. Now, of course, the round has flipped. The game has flipped. It's Northeption on the attack, and this is where they will truly be tested.
That's exactly right. For Northeption on their defense, they looked really comfy, but I can only imagine that Scarz now going on their defense are also going to see the same strengths that Northeption were able to use. So Shoereap's made some pretty quick work here in the ground floor. He's holding off that blue flank that could come through. It's fish-like on the other side of that. I can't imagine that Scarz are going to get too antsy here. They do seem like they're going to lean more into the anchor utility of their strategy. Of course, they have that double mirror setup going in towards blue. Not just that, but they are leaning into the KE to try and keep those hatches closed too. But with Sylvia, with Thatcher on the other side, surely Northeption can make work of that mid-round.
Ooh, that was a bit cursed. The funny thing with the free cam is it just applies with whatever level of the top down you're looking at. So if you're looking at like one of the top floors, there's no ceiling. And it looks a bit cursed sometimes, but it is beautiful. I love that this Japanese observer always shows us a bit of free cam. Here's another EMP. I think it's a bit of a bait. There's not going to be a lot of time here to get this off. That was a bit risky. Okay, a second EMP comes through. And Akisu is able to... Oh no, that's unfortunate! Oh, that is so unfortunate there for Northeption. Thankfully, a pick will go their way and make that a little bit more digestible, but losing that hatch, that stock hatch, is going to restrict the options here for Northeption a little bit.
They look a bit indecisive as well, so they've just realized that they actually can't get open the kitchen hatch, so this offer has been taken elsewhere, right? I can only imagine that they're going to send this down the Modu hatch instead. That looks like what Shuri is going to go for, but there are two Scarz players on the other side waiting for that triple-sided push to come through.
A temptation, Scarz, to go for a flank here. Yeah, you can see that right now. Fish-like on the Jaeger. He's climbed up the ladder into Garage. He's looking to go for a flank. He's taken down Sylvia as well. And now he's looking to put pressure on Nino, who was looking to execute down into blue. But, well, with Fish-like dropping down the hatch. Hang on a second. This has turned around a little bit, hasn't it? Nina's managed to sneak past all of those players in blue amidst the chaos and the smoke. And he's got that diffuser down. No, he was not able to confirm it. The Scarz were just inches away from taking him down. Fortunately, the rest of Northeption was not able to deliver on the play that Nina had looked to make. Scarz do run away with the round in the end, despite that opening pick for Northeption.
I actually didn't mind the retake idea there from Scarz. I thought that was really cool, right? They identified the fact that Northeption could not get the kitchen hatch open, so it wasn't going to be a kitchen drop. It had to be a motor push and a triple push. Not just that, but the triple wall was barely open as well for the attack, and so Tayo on the site is going, guys, they basically cannot get into the bomb site. Why don't you just go for a retake? Fish-like realizes he's not doing anything in his position, so he's going to go on an excursion off to the top floor to try and put a thorn in the side of the attack. And as a result, it's a very disconnected execute there for Northeption. Yes, they were able to sneak their way into the bomb site off the back of what was some really nice entry picks going in, but they couldn't close it out because Scarz ultimately had those numbers. A really good job there from Scarz. Make what was a rather unusual decision, but it worked out really well for them in that situation.
5 seconds remaining.
Credit to Northeption. Yeah, it's just not quite there. It's funny, it's Scarz now are the ones making the aggressive plays on the defense, right? I really had not expected that push up from the Jaeger, but with these Valkyrie cameras from Washoy, I expect to see more plays, more aggression enabled as well. He's actually going down into the basement. Remember, this is actually a gym bedroom bomb site, but we have a player down in the basement ready for flanks. Interesting that Washo's got impacts as well. Usually you'd see the Valkyrie with a C4, right? But wonder what he's got in mind. Maybe it's to go for a run out on Dirt Tunnel. There's a lot of good run outs that you can do onto the breach from there with impacts.
Interesting. I do wonder what his play is. I think the main thing is, like, there are a lot of potential entry holes for Northeption if they can get that ground control in their hands, right? So having someone in the basement then like puts like flank on the flank, if you know what I mean. So I think that, yeah, like I can imagine like what if they do like a main says
this
like
is a good nade.
yada yada. I don't think that's gonna land. Okay, no more. I didn't think it was because it was standing on the desk, but that's not quite how grenades work. Okay, so Reaper's able to take down Tayo. Really nice first pick. Oh, not just that. That's pretty good from Akusu. That's Wushli, and that is the player that we were talking about that was putting that flank pressure on. Has actually been dealt with super early.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. That was just a little bit too eager from Washoy already in Dirt Tunnel. Maybe actually even climbing up the ladder. Funnily enough, we didn't see him put any cameras to enable that kind of flank. He had flanks for Bar, but not for Cash and for Garage. And I think that was maybe a bit of a mistake, you know, taking the risk of going for something without info when you've got plenty of info elsewhere. Now Scarz in a 3v5. Northeption looking pretty hot here. They just have to convert this early to mid-round advantage into a good execute.
Scarz as well in the man disadvantage are going to try and look for a play, and what a perfect one to sink there from Rek onto Yuki's. Nice C4, but traded back by Nina. Now in the 4-on-2, they're going to look to try and explode onto the side.
Oh, but here's a good one from Fish-like. Oh, struggles to land the shots. He had the perfect positioning, but eventually enough shots in the kneecaps will net you a kill every day of the week. Bjon's found one. And this has been brought back by Scarz. Another 3v5 that goes begging for the attack. Akasu not going to make it work. And Kawasaki Scarz, another great round salvaged from the jaws of defeat. That does tie up the scoreline here and make things look a little bit dicey for Northeption.
Yeah, the remaining Scarz players did a great job at picking their battles at the right time, right? They knew that they were down in the numbers, and so they couldn't just sit there on the site and wait to be overwhelmed by Northeption. They needed to find the opportunity in that late round to go for those plays, and all three of those Scarz plays made it work. The first one that we saw was Rek, who kicked things off with what was a great C4. Not just that, but Fish like being able to retake inside of Logi and take two separate gunfights going in to Master and also in Con is really what sealed the deal there for the Scarz defense. That's what caused them to bring the man advantage back into their hands again and close it out in a really nice retake fashion.
Here's the free cam that we've been waiting for, and you know what else we've been waiting for, Mandy?
Bar on stage.
It's bar and stage, baby! And I'm not wrong this time. I didn't debate myself like last time. I did have to wait a second. You know what? The real reason why I asked you instead of saying it myself is I was worried if I tried to say it was bar stage myself, I'd jinx it and be wrong.
Attackers are moving
Oh,
out to
I
locate
see.
a
So
bomb and
you're saying that you wanted me to cast a curse it instead.
Exactly.
Ah, I see. I see.
Let-
the
let's
evil
stop.
play.
It's what you're here for. So I can throw you under the bus when I need to pick you up. Well,
That's not cool.
let's have a look at this spicy bar defense from Scarz. They're creative. They're not looking to go
Attackers
to
have
cash
located a bomb.
CCTV. They've got something else in the tank. Shurip's picking the IQ, which we talked a little bit about in map 1. Oh, he's got some information. There's no way. Oh, this is actually an unreinforced wall. Very unusual. He's pinged out Washoy on his camera, and he knows exactly where he is. That is so tempting, right? Like, he wishes that he was in a more exposed position. Might be able to cut him off if Washoy does try to move.
No, it's gonna work. Like, surely Washoy gets antsy at some point. He's on the bomb site. Surely he thinks he's safe, you know? If you're Washoy, you have absolutely no idea there's a punch hole. Yeah, exactly. You have no idea there's a punch hole in the wall watching you run over to the other side of that double. No way. So, good job there from Shurip to exploit that part of the setup. One unreinforced wall does spell the death of the single anchor inside of the bomb site.
Yeah, this is the kind of bomb site that is really hard to defend with numbers disadvantage, and that's why Scarz are going to keep making aggressive plays like that to try and bring it back. That is the thermite gone down, but unfortunately, sometimes those aggressive plays will cost more than you expect, and in this case, it's a 2-for-1 trade that's not at all worth it for Scarz in the position that they were in. Now, Shurip as well can just once again be diligent with this IQ. Tayo and Pyon now trying to get a little bit of information. Pyon knows about the player in kitchen, or at least he thinks he does. He saw that kitchen door being opened up, but ooh, here we go. He heard the put on here of the breaching charge, and he's unfortunately kept at bay by a Claymore. Had that Claymore not been there, that would have been a kill for Pyon, no doubt about it. But instead, he has to fight Shurip here, who has a superior weapon, is able to win that fight. 4v1 all up to Tayo now, and that's a nice shot. 3 more of those, and this might be winnable. A second one, not going to be on the cards today, and Northeption will, unfortunately for Scarz, be able to weather that storm and convert that numbers advantage, taking that bar attack.
Yeah, once again, good round for Shuri, just in the right place at the right time, able to pick apart that Scarz defense one by one. The first one, of course, it all kicked it off with what was a very strange kill onto the lone anchor of the bomb site. Not just that, but as Scarz tried to re-aggress their way onto the breach, knowing that they were going to be picked apart by the players of Northeption going in for the entry on the top floor, it was really just all chaos there for Scarz. Not a single one-to-one gunfight that they tried to interact with actually went their way. And as a result, I just think, yeah, very simple for Northeption. Just like manage your small 1v1 gunfights really well and convert that into the round win. So great job from them on the attack on what was a very strange defense. You don't often go to bar on stage. It can be one of the more challenging bomb sites to dissect, but things went the right way for them.
Indeed, they did, and now 2 rounds away from pushing us to map 3 Cafe, which we know is a great map for Scarz. They 7-0'd on it just the other day. Was it yesterday even? Oh,
Yesterday.
Man, time flies. Against Fav. But, of course, very different opponent, Northeption to Fav. Northeption are as well yet undefeated in Japan League in this stage. Of course, they've now lost a map to Scarz, but that's very different to losing a series. And I'm personally very impressed, Mandy. I did not expect Northeption to be this good on Clubhouse. Like I said, it was a 7-1 for Scarz the last time these teams met here on Club. and Scarz are pretty damn good on this map, so I would have been expecting a much more dominant scoreline in favor of Scarz, but that really is just a testament to this Stage 2 Northeption that we're seeing. Very much a different beast to what we saw in Stage 1. They've made some, I guess, surprising roster changes is how I would describe it. Like Akasu and Sylvia, not players that sprung to mind to be picked up to some of the top teams in Japan, but it's really worked so well, hasn't it? Especially Akasu. What a series he's had.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was saying, the off season is long. There's a long time to figure out your new playstyle, like upgrade your map pool, change out your players, whatever it might be. Northeption looked like one of those teams in Stage 1, especially that were just like on the rise, right? They're not up there with like your big Titan teams in Stage 1, but in this time off and after their experience internationally, they've really come back into form in Stage 2 and shown us just how much they've matured as a roster.
Yeah, definitely. I do wonder what Scarz has been up to in the off-season, because of course not making any roster changes, really just about consolidating what you learnt at the major.
Well, I think the thing about these Japan teams is like they don't get a big break, right? Because like Japan has always got stuff going on.
And invitational,
so, like,
right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So like you're playing officials pretty much all the time if you're Scarz, and like playing officials is so important, right? Like, yeah, scrims are good and that, but like I think that once you actually get into the match and there's like stuff at stake, you feel a bit different in the game. And I think that's really where like these Japanese teams actually get like ridiculous amounts of experience in comparison to like the counterpart of their other regions, right? Especially here in Asia, it can be quite challenging to get that experience.
There is a well-known phenomenon. People are sometimes called scrim players, which means that they go demon, they go big, they go large in the scrims. But when it comes to game day, like that extra pressure, like it just makes it much harder to perform. Of course, we don't get to see these guys in scrims. Who knows? Like
in screams.
Yeah. But
I mean, you get to see them in screams. They do love shouting when they get on the stage. Anyway.
We get to see plenty of these guys in action in the server, like for officials though, and man, these guys know how to deliver in officials. Shuri in particular having a second map in a row of double digits. And on the Ossa, this was pivotal. Winning the final round of the first half for Scarz on their attack was dropping with that Ossa shield. I think Northeption might have clued in from that as well and might be bringing that to their game plan here as well. But of course, we're still in the mid-round. These hatches still need to be opened up. EMP in tandem with Nina's hard breach charge will make short work of that hatch here for Moto.
Interesting. It does actually look like they are going to go for that kitchen execute like you're alluding to as well. I imagine personally that the Ossa shield was going to be better on that Moto tour, but nope, they are trying to prove me wrong here, and they're going to send that Ossa shield down with the smokes into the kitchen hatch and try and get that bomb down behind it.
Alright, well this is about the time to do it. Shuri taking a hell of a lot of damage there. It's actually Yukiz who's the one to plant, and Shuri looking to cover impact. Oh, he does not land to destroy the shield. Sylvia above is able to get the pivotal cover onto the player that would have denied that diffuser, but now instead Scarz are forced to retake. There's another kill, and this may well be doable. Washoy looking to peek. He knows that there's a player on the hatch, and that's a big one for Rek. The diffuser position has been regained, but Akasu has covered and doubled down. All up to Rek now, and Akasu in the hallway. Surely he's good for the final kill as well. No need to overextend. Look at the absolute distinction from these two attackers. They know that they do not have to peek. The onus is on Rek, and they will not give him any opportunity to win this round. Northeption, map point is a calling, and they will only need a single round to send us onto Cafe.
Really good stuff there from the attack of Northeption. I'm actually really liking that Ossa adaptation. I haven't seen it before this series, to be honest, going into that basement attack. But it's a really good way to safely get that bomb down, especially with Warden and things on the board where your smokes and your flashbangs are not that reliable when you want to send things down the kitchen hatch. Actually having a physical blockade there to stop the bullets is really what you need. And yes, there is a C4 in the hands of the Warden, but sending two players down there, not just one, both Yukiz and his teammate in Street, does mean that there's adequate cover there for the retake to come through from Scarz. So an adaptation that actually works really well in the favour of Northeption, has put them on match point, and is actually keeping their major dream alive as well, right? If they go down here to Scarz, that's them going to Atlanta and Northeption being knocked out of the bracket completely, right? So this is them trying to send us here to map 3.
And a huge marathon game after map 1 was a very tight 8-7 in Scarz' favor. Really have to credit Northeption for sticking with it into map 2, which I think I've been cursing teams all weekend, but I was convinced that Scarz was going to be the favored team here on Club, and it's been quite the opposite. Northeption have really rejuvenated it in the break between maps. It's funny, even thinking about that Ossa round just before, like Scarz had the impacts, they just unfortunately could not land them on the shield. That would have denied the plant. But instead, Northeption continue their fiery attacks, and they will have to do so now onto Gym and Bedroom, which has been successfully defended by Scarz this half. But of course, we said the same thing about that basement objective, and then Northeption went and stole the round.
Round by round, Dev. I'll tell you what, you just never know how this is going to play out, especially with the current meta, right? Like, it's changed so much in this, between stage 1, stage 2. It feels like every team, especially in this Japan region, has expanded their options on the attack. They've learned how to play so many different things. It's been really exciting to watch so far. So here we go, it's going to be that Gym and Bedroom bomb site, just like you're saying, and they're going to look for that sweep across the map. The first point of resistance is Wreck on the other side. Actually, just as I say that, Fish-like with a C4 all the way from inside of Logi will be the first pick.
Ironic that the IQ dies to the C4, which no doubt was on the back of a Valkyrie camera or something.
Yeah.
It really is quite unfortunate. You would have thought that Shuri would have checked for that. We've actually seen that before from other teams in this league, and the attackers have checked for it and cleared it in the past, but here Sharip is not so cautious, and wow, okay. Round is turned on its head, Manny. It's very much a Scarz round here. 5 versus 2. Northeption have a breach, but they are going to have to get desperate. Sylvia to go in, find one. That's something.
Oh, well, this is the scary. This is giving me deja vu, Dev. Remember last time we saw Scarz in this exact position? They were able to claw back the comeback on this exact bomb site, but it was in very different circumstances. They were defending, and they had the time on their side. This time, the guys with the man disadvantage are on the attack. And now they're trying to press their plays. On the other side of this gunfight is Tayo with that shotgun in hand, so Sylvia has to be really cautious about that one.
And Tayo does not have to peek, does he? He knows that he can just sit there. Nina's now clearing that frost mat, enabling a jump in later. Washo is down below on the hatch. She'll be able to take out anyone jumping through that window regardless. It looks like these two attackers will regroup now. Of course, Tayo in cash is the main player that needs to be cleared if Northeption are to push through construction onto the bomb site. Looks like Nina might come from top red. There is a rotate up there. It's going to be awkward. The EMP to try and cover the sound, but Tayo seems completely aware of it, and with the shotgun will find both of the final kills. A lovely round for Scarz, and perhaps the boost that they needed to make this comeback happen. One more round and Scarz will push to overtime.
Yeah, so Northeption now thinking that they really want to close out this round as soon as possible. They're actually going to take their tactical timeout, which I think is fair enough against the defense here of Scarz. Northeption, they have the right idea there, right? They wanted to go for the sweep across the map, but things, once again, didn't quite go their way. That first pick of the C4 was an unfortunate one. Of course, Fishlight timing that really well. Not just that, but their entries going in inside a cache as well didn't work out in their favor, and from there, it felt like a very unsalvageable rounds for them. So now's the time where they just want to take it slow, right? Dial back down the pacing and make sure that they pick apart Scarz one by one and play it methodically here in this potential final round of the map.
And the Scarz, in particular, this tactical timeout will give them an advantage in terms of discussing what they're going to change. They are the ones that have struggled on this half. Northeption won back-to-back attacks on Bar Stage and then Church Arsenal. I assume here that it looks to be Church Arsenal again, judging by the text there.
Whoa.
I know, I don't read Japanese, but the lovely trick, which to spoil the surprise for viewers at home, if there's no numbers in it, usually that means it's a basement floor, right? Because it would say 1F if it was the ground floor, or 2F if it's the top floor. So, spoiler, I'm not actually that smart, I don't read Japanese, but also it seems like the logical thing to do, right? Scarz really could have won that basement round, and they actually already have won a basement defense this game thus far. It was the first round of defense, but of course the round prior was a lot more challenging, and Osa hat drop was incredibly effective for Northeption.
Yeah, I think the thing for Northeption is I actually quite like them taking their tactical timeout in that round. Even though technically they are in the round advantage at the moment, sometimes
Attackers have
what you need to
located a
do is
bomb.
just like cool off, right? Like part of playing Rainbow Six is that like the first few points of the round is just not dying, right? Like before you do the right things,
10
you need
seconds
to
left
prevent
before
yourself
insertion.
from being killed in some Rainbow
Especially on the
Six
attack,
way,
right?
right?
Like,
Yeah,
don't get
exactly.
spawn
Especially
peeked.
when you're on the attack, you don't want to make mistakes. And when you've gone through such a
Attackers
long
are moving
series
to
and you
defuse the bomb.
mounted such a comeback, they're doing really well so far. It can be easy to get like lost in the sauce, right? So I like them taking their tactical timeout to just like pull off and say we're doing the right things. We need to not make silly mistakes, right? That's going to be the death of them. So I think here going into that basement attack, it is challenging, but with the right composure, they can pull it off, and they've shown us that they can before.
They very much have a lot more pressure on them in a way. Of course, moving to overtime would feel like everything's slowly slipping away. Look at that from Scarz, though. 3 roamers all retreating back to the bomb site after 40 seconds. It's not a lot of time wasted, but this is one of those bomb sites that you can play completely anchored. A nade to go down. Thankfully, no one was playing too close to that mirror, but I believe it did catch the mute jammer that was lying next to it.
Fionn, I think, knew what was going on as well there on that mirror. He decided to take a step back from it, knowing that he doesn't need to be right on that mirror as that grenade sails through. Fish like is going to take a little bit of damage. Of course, a player on the hatch is going to lock him in his position. But it is just going to be that waiting game for Scarz, right? Northeption, yes, even though they have been given the map, we know that from the top down, but they don't know that. So they just want to confirm that with drones first before they send their buck down to start playing vertical.
The mirror spotted. Buck starting to get to work on the vert. 2 C4s still on the cards for Scarz. None have actually netted a kill on this basement, to my recollection, this game, but they've done a lot of damage, and that damage will make a lot of difference when it comes down to that final execute, and you're relying on things like those C4s and attacks and headlong sprays to try and secure kills. Speaking of securing kills, look at Shoe Reap go. He's found the first pick of the round, and it is in blue. I believe that mirror in blue has also been disabled using some Hibana pellets. This is not looking great for Scarz.
With 50 seconds left of the round as well, the triple wall has now been fully opened up to them. The blue control starting to go in, but I think there's Pionn actually going for a flank up the oil stairs, up the oil ladder. Well, Shoy is trying to toy with some players on the top floor, but with 40 seconds left to go, are they going to know that he's here?
Oh, this player, Washoy, down below, must make good on his position, but he has been droned, he has been pinged. They're not going to overextend. As time ticks away, Northeption inch closer to another map, but it looks like Scarz say, we're not done yet, we want another round in this map before we will concede. Nina for the cover, but it's all Northeption. In the basement, they will reign supreme, covering the plants and covering off this map. Cafe is on the horizon here for Northeption, as Scarz cannot get it done in 2, and the decider is required to settle who goes to Atlanta.
Really great tenacity here from Northeption as they hold out on the second map. One that we anticipated Scarz to be very strong on, but Northeption prove us wrong. A great way to execute as well onto the basement. Like we said, they took that